my Blu-ray collection part 33. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to part 33 of a look at my Blu-ray collection. So these are films, TV, comedy, all sorts in here, bit of music maybe. Just no box sets because I've already shown those. Box sets are multi-film box sets, multi-TV series box sets. Okay, next up we have Sucker Punch, the extended cut. The Zack Snyder, that's his name, film. Based on a comic strip, I believe. Yes. How to describe? Okay, so Emily Browning is in this school, very strict school. I can't remember if it's a ballet. It is a ballet school, or it's just a school where they do ballet as one of the lessons. But I can picture a ballet scene. Other pupils: Abby Cornish, Jenna Malone, who I adore, Vanessa Hudgens, Jamie Chung. Teacher Carla Gino, Oscar Isaac's in it, John Hamm, Scott Glenn are in it. Basically, it's one of those where is it real, is it a fantasy? But they fight. The girls sort of get together, and enter this fantasy world and fight. It's hard to explain, but it's very, very good. Excellent film, Submarine. This was Richard Ayoade's directing debut, and I think he wrote it as well. Yes. So, brilliant performances all round. Craig Roberts is a young boy in Wales, I think it is. Living with his mother, played by Sally Hawkins, and his father, played by Noah Taylor. He has a best friend stroke love interest, played by Yasmin Page, who was Maria in the first series of Sarah Jane Adventures. His mother gets embroiled with this mystic, played by Paddy Considine. His girlfriend, Yasmin Page, is a pyromaniac. He's just really intelligent. It's hard to explain the actual plot, but it is a fantastic film. I highly recommend it. If you're an Arctic Monkeys fan, Alex Turner does the music. It's just, yeah, really, really good film. Disney's Aladdin, the animated version. I do have the live action version, but I haven't watched it yet. It's in my to watch pile. It's not that long ago actually, but I watched this as part of a Disney box set that I've got. So this is sort of superfluous now, but it's a film. It sort of came out in that period where I was just had no real interest in Disney. When was this? 1990. Something. When was Aladdin out? Aladdin. 1992. So I was 17. You know, you don't go and watch Aladdin films as a 17-year-old bloke. You don't go and see Disney films rather as a 17-year-old bloke. But one of my flatmates at university had it on VHS, and he was raving over it. So we sat and watched it. I thought it was at the time. I thought it was all right. You know, Robin Williams is excellent as the genie, but other than that, it didn't do much for me at the time. However, so many people kept going on about how great it was that I caved in and bought the Blu-ray. Might be one that I used with my Disney reward points. I might have got it free of charge. But on rewatching it as older and wiser, I enjoyed it a lot more. And watching it again recently, I enjoyed it even more. So sort of every time I watch it, I enjoy it a bit more. This is Inside Llewyn Davis. This is, I think, the only Coen Brothers film I own. I've only seen a couple. They've sort of passed me by a bit. I'm well aware of them and their work, but just haven't seen much of it. I primarily got this because Kerry Mulligan's in it. It's a very good film. It's set in the Greenwich Village folk scene of the 60s. Llewyn Davis is a Dylan-esque singer-songwriter. Oscar Isaac plays him. Struggling to make ends meet. He ends up going to Chicago to audition for this music mogul, as they put it on here, a producer, try and get a career. And it's sort of a tale of the journeys to and from, and his friends he bumps into. It's sort of a bit of a road movie, but based around the folk scene. Very good, very, very good film, actually. Another Disney, another one I've watched fairly recently as part of a box set, a bit longer ago. Basil the Great Mouse Detective. This was No, I think I paid for this one. Oh, I can't remember. So Disney used to do in their releases, get a little, let's see if it's got one in here, no. What's that one in there? It's the Disney Movie Rewards Club, I think it was called. And basically, no, neither of them got one in. In the releases, there'd be a little slip, sort of like a digital download slip, but different, with a code on it. And you could go onto the website and input the code, and depending on what it was, it gave you a certain number of points. So you got more points to a Blu-ray than a DVD, and if it was a box set, you'd get more points, and so on and so forth. And then, a certain number of points you could redeem and buy anything from, they used to sell the O cases, or the O sleeves, whatever you want to call them, slip cases, separate. So if you had some of a certain set and some not, you could always buy the slip cases to make them all match if you were thusly inclined. Or you could buy video games and DVDs and Blu-rays. So I got quite a few. I got enough points that I think I had at least 3 or 4 freebies from them. That's what I'm getting at anyway. But I've got a feeling I actually bought this because, being a Sherlock Holmes fan, as I mentioned in the last part, or maybe the part before, I wanted Basil the Great Mouse Detective, as it is set in that world. Basil, if you don't know, is a mouse who lives underneath 221B Baker Street and has many of the same characteristics as Sherlock Holmes. And, excuse me, it's a very good Sherlock Holmes-esque action-adventure detective story that I enjoy a lot. We have the first 2 of the Kelvin Star Trek films. I think I've already shown Star Trek Beyond. Very much enjoy these. First one in particular, it's really good. This is in a nice slip case that you're probably all familiar with. Oh yeah. But yeah, very good rebooting of the series. Chris Pine. I'm trying to remember his name without looking. Zachary Quinto. Is that right? Yeah. Simon Pegg, obviously. John Cho. The late greats. Anton Yelchin. Zoe Saldana. Carl Urban. The new crew are very good. Great film, as was the second one with Benedict Cumberbatch, who is Khan. It's a bit strange one, because for a start, and I'm going to say this quietly, I think the Wrath of Khan is a bit overrated. It's never done a lot for me, personally. But if you're not sort of familiar with the legacy of Khan, if you like, the big reveal that Cumberbatch is Khan means nothing unless you sort of know the history. So I think a lot of people who would have seen this as fans of the first film, if you like, would have been too young to know the sort of a backstory. So it was a bit of a strange, big reveal. But otherwise, very good, very enjoyable. This is great. This is Sunshine on Leaf. This is a musical based on the music of the Proclaimers, who I love anyway. Set in Scotland, so two school friends who went off to serve in the army together in Afghanistan return home, try to rekindle their romances, etc. It's just a really heartwarming musical with great songs, great cast. Peter Mullen, Jane Horrocks, Georgia Mackay, Antonia Thomas, Freya Mavor, I never know how you say her surname, Jason Fleming. Yeah, really good, heartwarming film. This is Tower Block in a lenticular sleeve that doesn't really do much. Basically got this because Sheridan Smith's in it. So it's a big tower block that loads of people live in, and I think it's a tower block that's going to be, or trying to demolish, some big companies trying to demolish to build something in its place. But there's some residents still living there, refusing to leave, and they're gradually being killed by a high-powered rifle that nobody's hearing the shots or anything. So they try and escape, basically. But yeah, good film, great performances. Sheridan, Jack O'Connell, Russell Tovey, Ralph Brown. Very good. Total Recall. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. Paul Verhoeven. I think I've had a Paul Verhoeven in each of the last three videos. Great film. So, Schwarzenegger is a construction worker. This is, sort of in the future. Married to Sharon Stone. He's got recurring dreams of a life on Mars, where there's another colony of humans. And so he goes to this recall where they implant fantasies into your brain, and he gets this fantasy, he's having it implanted, and it all goes wrong, and it reveals to him that he was actually used to be a big... Well, that's a lie. It all goes wrong, he's all a bit muddled, and then people start trying to kill him, and including his wife. And he realises he's this spy who was part of a resistance in Mars. And he travels to Mars and overthrows the bad guys, basically. It's this typical Arnie action thriller, but really well done. He saves Mars at the end. But what's great about it is it's all, is it real or is this the fantasy that's been implanted in him? It's never resolved. But brilliant performances. One of Schwarzenegger's best performances. Sharon Stone, very early role for her. This is pre-Basic Instinct. This is what got her Basic Instinct, basically. Excellent performance from her. Rachel Tickerton as his other love on Mars. Yeah, just brilliant performances all around. Great film. If I do... Yeah, I'll do these two. So Torchwood was the spin-off from Doctor Who, sort of the more adult version that went on BBC Three and then moved to BBC One. Starring John Barrowman as Captain Jack Harkness. He's part of Torchwood, which is basically an Earthbound... It's a bit like UNIT, but less military, if you're familiar with UNIT from the Doctor Who universe. So basically they investigate alien goings-on in the UK. Unit is sort of worldwide, that's the main difference. Their headquarters are in Cardiff. So there was three series? 2 series? 2 or 3 series. Let's have a look. 2 series. Sort of proper TV series, 20 episodes or whatever it was. No, it wouldn't be 20. UK, however many, 10 episodes, separate stories, showing weekly. Then the 3rd series they did was called Children of Earth, which was a 5-parter shown on 5 consecutive nights on BBC One. It was the same week that Psychoville, or certainly Psychoville, was airing, and it was just one of the greatest weeks of television I've ever known. This is a masterpiece, Children of Earth. The first 2 series I have on DVD, so when they're with my Doctor Who DVDs, so when I do those, you will see them. They are available on Blu-ray, but I already had them on DVD before I got my Blu-ray player. Yeah, this is just a masterpiece. This is one of the greatest TV series ever made. I'll read the blurb. An ordinary day becomes a world of terror as every single child in the world stops. A message is sent to all the governments of Earth: we are coming. But as the trap closes around Captain Jack, sins of the past are returning. A long-forgotten event from 1965 threatened to reveal an awful truth. Tortured are forced underground as the government takes swift and brutal action. With members of the team being hunted down, Britain risks becoming a rogue state, with a mysterious and powerful 456 drawing ever closer. Captain Jack, Gwen and Yanto are helpless as events escalate until mankind faces the end of civilization itself. That's the plot, basically, but it doesn't really do justice to how great this is. Peter Capaldi's in it as well, not as Doctor Who, this is pre that. Just excellent TV series. And then after a while it returned, and it was a co-production with Stars, I think it was, in America. And we got Miracle Day, which was however many episodes, 10 episodes I think. It's a bit too American for Torchwood. It's all of a sudden there's a day and nobody dies, and then day after day nobody dies, and Torchwood are trying to investigate why, and then the CIA are trying to investigate why. Initially the CIA are investigating Torchwood, but then they team up to try and work out what's going on. The idea is very good, but the execution's not bad. I think part of the problem is it's dragged out. One storyline over 10 episodes is a bit too much. It would have been a great 5-parter. But it's just the Americanisation of it doesn't always work. Brilliant performance by Bill Pullman. Make sure I got the right Bill. I always get the Bills confused. Bill Pullman as I think he's a paedophile, who's on death row and is about to be executed when suddenly the miracle happens and nobody dies. So his execution doesn't work, so he gets freed and he becomes this sort of evangelist type character, but we know he's still a wrong 'un, you know what I mean. But yeah, it is very good, but it's not as great as the rest of Torchwood. Okay, that'll do for this part. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next part. Thanks. Bye.